Welcome back. What began as another night of rain in Elgeyo Marakwet ended in a nightmare after homes were flattened, families buried in their sleep, and entire villages cut off by landslides. By morning, rescuers were pulling bodies from the mud, mothers searching for their children, fathers digging with bare hands. The death toll now stands at 34 and counting. But why were so many people caught off guard when the Meteorological Department says it gave a warning? Because between the scientist who saw it coming and the villager who never heard a thing, there's a whole chain of communication that was supposed to save lives. Let's unpack it. About what went wrong in Elgeyo Marakwet when a warning was sent, but tragedy still struck.
Leo ni siku ya mwisho kwa hii dunia. Mtoke nje, kila mtu aende nje zake. Kama Mungu akitujalia tuishi mpaka asubuhi, tuongee. Kama tukienda tukutane wapi? Mbinguni huko. Kwa sababu ilikuwa mbaya mbovu.
Tumbo ni chungu sana. Tulikosea nini Mungu kweli?
We share in your grief and stand with you during this painful time.
Barabara ya kutoka Jesoi kwenda Embobu hakuna barabara. Mtihani sasa kesho sijui itapelekwa namna gani.
Today we came here to respond to this disaster that has occurred in the Marakwet East.
In Elgeyo Marakwet County has experienced multiple deadly landslides and mudslides over the past 2 decades, mostly triggered by heavy rainfall and unstable escarpment terrain.
In the early hours of November 2nd, 2025, in Embobut, Embolot, Endo, and Sabiri, families were asleep when the earth gave way. 34 lives lost, dozens missing, homes, hopes, and entire villages swept away. But this wasn't nature's first warning shot. It was deja vu. Elgeyo Marakwet has seen this before. In 2010, 2019, 2020. Each time, the same pattern. The rains came, the hills moved, and the people say they were never warned. Tonight, we trace the official chain of communication from the weather-focused to the village chief and ask, where did it break? The chain begins at the Kenya Meteorological Department. On October 22nd, 2025, the Kenya Met Department issued a heavy rainfall advisory, warning of flooding and possible landslides across western Kenya. On October 26th, they updated the alert, citing tropical depression Chenge moving in from the Indian Ocean.
November-December rainfall, this area has received significant amounts of rainfall. And even in the June, July, August, the rainfall was very heavy. So already the season commenced when the ground was saturated.
Forecasting, however, is just step one. The next step is turning that data into action.
This initiative, this early warning for all, envisages to ensure that every person up to the last mile gets this information.
Once the Meteorological Department issues a warning, then it is upon the national government to disseminate this information to the devolved level, which is the county, were to enforce and mobilize people to move from these affected areas.
On November 1st, tragedy struck.
We have been able to evacuate about 25 injured victims of this disaster, but we still also have more than 30 people who are missing. We can account for about 15 persons who have already died.
On behalf of the government of Kenya, we express our deepest condolences to the families who have lost loved ones. We share in your grief and stand with you during this painful time.
Once the department issues a warning, it is sent to the National Disaster Operations Center under the Ministry of Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs, led by Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku and directed by David Samoei, and to the National Disaster Management Unit operating under the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, headed by Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and Duncan Onyango Ochieng as its director. This level is supposed to be the country's command center for disaster coordination, the ones who ensure the alert reaches the counties in the danger zones, the ones who mobilize police, Red Cross and local administrators. But in disasters like this one, speed isn't the issue, reach is. And between the ministry boardrooms and mountain villages, messages often die mid-flight.
Even if they met and gave this information to Interior, there is no clear definition of roles and function between the two levels of government. There are no national and county level directories of disaster management experts and inventory of. I can tell you for sure that what the county does in terms of disaster management is not known by what the national government plans.
Once the alert reaches the county, in this case Elgeyo Marakwet, the next point in the chain is the governor, Wesley Rotich, and the county commissioner, John Korir, who chair the county disaster committee. When danger looms, they're meant to convene an emergency meeting, alert sub-counties, and coordinate evacuation if needed. The final link is the last mile. This is where disaster communication wins or fails. Chiefs, assistant chiefs, ward admins, village elders, and local FM stations. These are the people meant to turn technical alerts into simple instructions like move now. But residents say they never got the message. No public address, no chief's notice, no radio alert.
Mpaka mwishowe tu nikaamua nikaambia watoto, leo ni siku ya mwisho kwa hii dunia. Mtoke nje, kila mtu aende nje zake. Kama Mungu akitujalia tuishi mpaka asubuhi, tuongee. Kama tukienda, tukutane wapi? Mbinguni huko.
You may find that since it's downslope, communication may also not be very, very good.
Serikali kuu na county atuangalilie sisi kama sisi watu ya mlima. Tunaona sasa hii mlima tuko tunahofia kabisa, na watu ya chini wamehamia upande wa juu, na tunasema hii sehemu ya ile wanakatika huenda watakatika wakati wowote kuanzia sasa.
Wawe pia chonjo ili waweze kupeana tahadhari, wakiona dalili yoyote pia waweze kueleza wananchi kwa sehemu hii.
Think of it like a game of broken telephone. The scientist whispers danger ahead, but by the time the message reaches the last person in the line, it's distorted, delayed, or never heard at all. Only this time, the price of the missed message was over 13 lives.
We need a structure, and this one will touch on the disaster management bill. It did not come out clear on some of these things. So most of the time, this framework is a reactive one than a preventive one.
Despite years of landslides across Elgeyo Marakwet, resettlement plans have moved slowly and disaster drills remain rare.
Did the government try to force people to get out of these areas, or did these people adhere to the laws, especially look at logging? I mean, people keep logging in the forests. People keep farming in those areas. People keep putting structures in those areas. Who is supposed to enforce these laws and make sure that the community or the residents adhere to the laws of the government? That is where the problem is. So accountability still goes back to the national government.
The forecast was right. The warning was real. So who should be held accountable when the warning is sent but doesn't save lives? Because in a country that knows its seasons, tragedy should never be seasonal.
That episode of